disclaimer, caveat. We all know it was preseason game number 1 last night. I did walk into the hallway today and tell Frankie and Chris of the digital staff, 82-0. Get it ready.
I put a chair on K Street leading right to Doco for the parade. I want to get my spot ready. I want to have my spot ready.
Oh, sorry. It's going to be on L.
Oh, man. Come on.
Well, you got plenty of time.
I do. I'll go move it.
I don't think many people are going to be putting the chair down. I think you might be the only one. You might have to get closer to the playoffs.
It's a spot reserved for Kings Championship Parade right there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you put your last name on the back of the chair like a director or a producer?
It's a director's chair.
I don't know. Easy with that last name, Ramie. It's kind of close to somebody else.
Good point. All right. But number 1 on the list, again, given the disclaimer, the context, we know it was preseason game number 1. But Ramie, both you and I said yesterday, we were tunnel focused first and foremost on the defense. Did you like what you saw defensively from the Kings last night?
I liked it for the most part. There were stretches, and there was one stretch in the second quarter where it felt like the Kings had kind of reverted back to old ways. And it was something that we were worried about mostly is the defense in the paint. Are you going to be able to protect the rim and stop people from penetrating and getting easy buckets down there, or penetrating and finding the open man? And there was about 3 or 4 times down the court where Russell Westbrook just ran into the paint and nobody got in his way. A couple times he got the layup, a couple times he found the open man and they got the easy shot. But other than that, I really did like what I saw from the defense. And I said yesterday, Nick, it's not always, guys aren't always going to be in the right spot in preseason game number 1. There's still a learning curve going on here. I want to see, and you can see this in body language. You can see this just with the eye test and watching. Guys cared on the defensive side of the court. You know what I mean? Guys were putting effort into playing defense. And I think that's where we start when you're talking about this Kings team and where they're coming from as a defensive basketball team.
I think it depends on who you're talking about. So last night I thought Fox again showed spurts. And here's what happens with De'Aaron Fox. And Chris and JJ can disagree with me if they'd like. I don't think they will. So Fox plays in spurts, and he'll have a couple of plays where people will point to and go, see, he can defend. See, he can. And last night that happened again, right? He had a couple of plays towards the end of the first half. He had the block on Patrick Beverley. He had the steal and the dunk. He makes those plays every once in a while, and people will go, there it is. See, he can defend. He can defend. It's if he wants to defend. And again, I thought he played in spurts last night. He was okay. He wasn't great. Again, preseason game number 1. He's a veteran. Maybe he could not care less about consistently playing defense. So I thought Fox, again, showed you the spurts, which is what we've seen from him in the past. No major difference with him that I saw. Again, first preseason game. I thought Kevin Huerter played well defensively. And I don't think he's a great defensive player, but when he was traded for, we talked about it, and I had mentioned that Huerter plays good defense. He's not excellent. There are some guys that can get better of him because they're just a little bit more athletic, but he competes and he defends at a good enough rate. So I thought he was good. Domas is Domas. If you're expecting Domas to be good defensively,
keep waiting.
Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed because, and again, it's not because of lack of effort. It's not because of basketball IQ. It's not because of, desire or competitive level. It's just he is physically not capable of defending consistently at the rim because of the lack of athleticism, and he is not going to be able to consistently defend on the perimeter because he's not great laterally. He's not going to shuffle his feet and be able to take on guards. That's just not who he has been built. It's not the way he's been built. It is who he is. You deal with the good and the bad. I thought Keegan played well.
Really well.
And, we'll get to Keegan in totality later on, but I thought defensively Keegan played well. And there were a couple of possessions, Ramie, where he had LeBron, and I thought he did a pretty decent job against LeBron.
He stayed with him. You're not always going to win those battles. He is LeBron James, but he stayed with him. And Nick, one thing with Keegan Murray that we haven't really seen to be part of his game. And I'm paraphrasing, but shortly after he got drafted, Keegan Murray said in his very understated Keegan Murray way, there are things people think are weaknesses in his game that he simply just wasn't asked to do at Iowa, that there are things he can do that just weren't his role and he wasn't asked to do. he didn't mind getting a little bit physical in the paint yesterday and protecting the rim. And like I said, that's a concern for this Kings team. If Keegan Murray can help you in that department, and I'm not saying he's going to be the best rim protector in the world, but if he can help you in that department, that's a huge boost and not necessarily something you were even expecting you were expecting to do a lot of things well when he got to the NBA, but that wasn't something you were necessarily expecting from that dude.
Here was Keegan talking defense last night.
Yeah, we really wanted to key in on defense and get easy buckets on the offensive end. Just hit singles, get easy open shots, and pick out threes, and that's what we got.
We wanted to key in on defense. I'm not sure Malik Monk was part of that week. We spoke to Malik last week at Media Day, and he talked to us about focusing on defense and really wanting to play good, solid defense. Not last night. There were 5, 6, 7 occasions where there was ole and just let the guy go by you. And again, preseason game number 1, Malik did play better defensively last year with the Lakers. It still wasn't great. He pretty much was an average defender. Before last year, he was well below average. Last night, he struggled on that end of the floor. And I need to see Monk play better defense. But I think overall, Ramie, when you watched the team last night, and we're talking first half, second half was a bleep show. I mean, it was bench versus bench.
You told me not to even watch the second half.
Don't. I watched the third quarter. I regret it. I want that time back in my life.
I took your advice because I wanted to focus on the 49ers game last night. I watched the first half of the Kings game this morning, and then I was going to watch the second half on my lunch break, so I knew what I was talking about here on the show, and you were like, don't even bother. So I listened.
I watched third quarter, and then there wasn't much.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
But overall, big picture, I do think the team defense gave you a little hope last night. I thought in totality, they moved their feet well. I thought most of the guys stayed in front, or at least try to stay in front of their man. I thought they contested a good number of shots. So I thought overall it was a decent first step. But there were some individuals that need to step up. And, Fox namely and Monk namely. Fox needs to be more consistent and Monk needs to be just better, point blank. And if you get that from those two guys, I think you'll feel much better about this defense as we get closer to the regular season, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. I mean, things right around the corner. Right around the corner.